Jake O'Brien, brother, thank you so much for jumping on the potty. Super grateful.
Mate, my pleasure to be here.
How's your day been?
Good day off today. Had a pretty hectic last week and weekend, and Monday I got to play a bit of catch up today, just with a bunch of life admin, and like you said, the weather's nice, so I'm all right. I'm all right. Let's not go too deep into it. I've got a few things kind of in the background that have been kind of stressing me out a bit, but it's all good. It's just a bit hectic this time of year, isn't it? With Christmas and everything coming up, it's a lot of pressure and a lot of different angles. So just trying to manage all that, really.
Yeah, there's so much fucking shit going on, but it's good to have fucking the sun out again, blue skies. You know, I don't know about you, but I'm always outside going for walks and runs and stuff just to get that fresh air. So it's good to have it again.
Yeah, this Lenina is killing me.
Dude, I like to start
Lenino.
Yeah. Dude, I like to start my podcast with gratefuls. What are you grateful for?
So much, mate. Having 4 operative limbs is a pretty good plus. I was kind of actually riding my pushy the other day for a bit of cardio. And I had a bit of a moment where I was like, fuck, my legs work really well. How lucky am I? Just little things like that. But yeah, let's just leave it there. That's 4 working limbs.
Yeah,
loving family. Plenty of good stuff to be grateful for in my life, mate.
Exactly.
How about you?
Right. It's funny that you did mention like having, 4 limbs at work, because I've spoken to people that are in wheelchairs and that, and it's just, it makes me so grateful that we can do the simple things in life that we take for granted. And like you got people in wheelchairs and like they can't do the things that we can, but they don't let that hold them back. So I'm grateful for that. As I said, I'm grateful for the weather. I'm grateful to be here today talking to you and having this platform where we can go, deep, talk about real shit and impact a lot of people.
To be honest, I'm not actually feeling that great the last couple of days. And just by doing that, just then I already feel a little bit better.
Yeah, bro. But doing gratitude, like it can flick a switch and, make you feel so much better. Like you can be having a shit day, but when you take a step back and just think of the things that you are grateful for in life, it puts a smile on your face. Because yeah, it's true. Everyone's going to have shit days, but there's always something in your life that you can be grateful for.
Yeah.
Dude.
Absolutely.
For the people who don't know you, you want to quickly, I guess, introduce yourself a little bit, maybe about your upbringing and then what you kind of do. And then we'll dive into the accident and cancer, because I've been doing my research and fuck, a bit of a roller coaster your life's been, bro.
It has, mate. Yeah, it certainly has. Look, I suppose I'm just like a normal bloke, but I had some pretty extenuating circumstances in the last couple of years. And, I'm on my own hero's journey, as we all are. And we've all got our own battles and monsters and everything that we face. And, mine were big, and I was kind of quite open with them on my socials. And that's what's put me in, the limelight of people such as yourself wanting me on your podcast, so we can go into all that. But who am I? I'm from Sydney, Australia. I just a kid just trying to find his way in the world, mate. Been just following my intuition ever since I can remember. Wasn't very good at school, but I was really good at cooking because my mother was pretty shit at cooking, and I got sick of eating dodgy food, so I ended up becoming a chef. Did that for half my life. I was traveling around Australia working in different kitchens and whatnot. My knee blew out with a hereditary condition. The tip of the bone's all broken up. It still is. It's an absolute bastard of a thing. So that got me out of hospitality and into a more salesy kind of role. And then I eventually kind of found myself salesy role at a gym. By this stage, the knee had been operated on a few times. So I got right into my functional training and stuff. And ended up becoming a personal trainer for a little while, a couple of years of it as a PT, which was really fulfilling. And kind of ended up being, a PT. So you become somewhat of you put the motivational guy hat on. And I suppose that's the hat that I've worn for the last couple of years, despite the things that have happened. And sometimes it's a bit much and I take it off and I just take a break from life and trying to inspire people and whatever. But for the most part, mate, that's kind of what I do, and it's what I enjoy doing is just kind of trying to lead from the front, I guess, and lead by example by, practicing what I preach and being as good of a person as I can be to both myself and the people in my circle, or even my outer circle, now that I'm using these social media platforms to try and spread positive and empowering messages and stuff. And yeah, that's me, man. It's pretty simple. I'm just a normal bloke. Extenuating circumstances, yes, but I'm just like everyone else, man.
No, I love that, dude, and that's why I wanted to have you on, because you are a normal bloke, but you're real, you're raw, and you've overcome some fucking adversities in your life, and you've come out the other side, and you're working on becoming the best version of yourself. So, dude,
Yeah.
hats off to you, because so many people get in a hole and they don't come out.
And that's, I think, why I'm passionate about it, mate, because I got fucking deep into that hole and I climbed my way out, and I think it took a few kind of months afterwards to realize what a big deal that was. And when I did kind of realize, I was like, you know what, fuck, I'm going to like really open up about, my struggles with depression, like these physical challenges. Everyone knew about them, but no one really knew that, I was fighting some pretty bad internal demons. And, I'm lucky these physical things didn't kill me, but I'm really lucky I didn't kill myself, and that's really taken a lot to kind of come out in the public space and say, but I did. And now I just hope that I can kind of work my way into this space, that I can get other people that might be in that hole that I was in out through, leading in some way. And I'm still trying to work all that out myself. You're doing an amazing job with this podcast. I'm not doing a podcast or anything. All I'm doing is speaking on them and, posting my own stuff. But I'm still healing and learning. And I think in the next few years, some things might come more to fruition, that I've got kind of thoughts in my head of things I want to do. But for now, mate, just, still healing and still growing into the person that I can inspire people to, like, hey, I know you're in the midst of a really, really rough time right now, but mate, so was I. And I just kind of kept putting one foot in front of the other, and it all turned out fine, So
Yeah, that's it, bro. Like, life's a journey. So many people are rushing to achieve so much and be like the best version of themselves straight away, but it doesn't happen like that. Like, I don't know if you follow Gary Vee at all, but bro, he's always like, play the long game, like enjoy the process and just be happy, because if you just get focused on the goal and you get that goal, you're not going to be satisfied because you didn't enjoy the process. You didn't enjoy the journey of becoming that best version of yourself.
Yeah, totally. I found a lot of this adversity and bullshit has just really made me kind of look at, like, what are my goals and what the fuck, like, if I get through all this, like, what am I offering to the world? What kind of service do I bring? And I think the biggest thing for me was I wasn't able to work for quite some time and all that. And, I didn't like that, because I didn't have enough purpose, and it's purpose that really drives us to, passion and feel good and feel like we belong. And that journey part is the most important thing. Essentially, it's like each day is its journey, and you gotta fulfill your goals and your dreams by walking that road. So you're spot on, man.
And we were talking about being in a hole, being at rock bottom. For you, I want to ask your opinion on this. Do you think it's we don't want people to hit rock bottom. We want to prevent that. But do you think for some people it is necessary for them to hit that rock bottom to realize, fuck, I need to make a change in my life?
Yeah. No, you don't need it. But it can be helpful. I mean, it can also be unhelpful. It's what you make of your situation. I could have taken everything that happened to me and gone and cried in a corner and stayed there. Or I could do what I did, which was pivot my career and become an inspirational figure for other people. It's funny, this whole everything happens for a reason thing that people say. I try not to say that anymore. I said that once to someone, and their brother had killed themselves about 2 weeks beforehand, which I wasn't aware of. This person had broken their ankle right in the snow, and I was like, oh, maybe it all happens for a reason. They're like, oh, actually, fuck that saying. Like, okay. So ever since then, I've really thought to myself, not everything happens for a reason, and maybe life doesn't really have a meaning, but it's us as individuals that give things meaning and give life its purpose. And yeah, it's such a like personal thing, isn't it? That search for meaning and what we're doing
Mm.
essentially. So
Yeah, like life
you
sometimes has a reason for happening, or sometimes life just fucking happens. Like shit just
yeah,
happens sometimes.
sometimes shit just happens, mate. And yeah, you don't need it to happen to change. But as I said before, I feel very connected to the hero's journey story, where essentially that's what we're all on. We start off, we are nothing, we're nothing special. We make a goal, we start moving towards it, we face some adversities along the way, and we overcome them, and then that's what helps us become better and stuff. It's those adversities along the way to our goals, and stomping through them that makes us feel good. And yeah, rock bottom is it can be a blessing. It certainly was for me. Looking back, at the time, absolutely not. Hated it, hated myself, hated my life, and now much less so. I mean, I still have my days, mate, and I'm still going through things, but yeah, I feel like I've been blessed with these things. Some people are blessed, born into rich families, or they're naturally just very loving and bubbly. We've all got different gifts. I think the gift of long suffering is real, and you can really use it as a gift. And I think that's all I'm trying to do.
Exactly. Everyone has pros and cons, and you mentioned like people are born into rich families, but people have this perspective, or if you're rich, you're happy, but you're not.
No, not at all. But it can absolutely be a gift in itself.
Mm.
You can use the fact that you've got financial freedom to do things that you're passionate about more than working in a factory or something. Or we've all got things. We've all, like, maybe it's patience, maybe it's time, maybe it's whatever. So yeah, these hardships have been my gift, and how can I then throw it back into the space around me to make that a better space, rather than worse, I suppose.
Yeah, I love that. I love how, we do overcome those adversities, we do learn from it, and then we can help other people so they don't go down the similar path.
Mm, yeah, there's some pretty bad paths you can go down in this world. So
Exactly. All it takes is one fucking wrong turn.
yeah,
Dude, let's go back to your motorcycle accident. How many years ago was that?
just coming up to 2 years, I think. Yeah, 2 and a bit years. When was it? It was 2019. Fuck, it's 2.5 years now, actually. So yeah,
Shit.
about 2.5 years ago, and I'm still bloody dealing with the whole stresses of like sorting out this whole insurance, because I wasn't at fault for the accident, and it's this whole mental dilemma of they've been kind of taking care of me in the meantime. And um yeah, it's too complicated to explain on a podcast, but yeah, 2.5 years ago was the accident. I've still got some stuff about it looming over me, but essentially I've overcome it, and it's in my past. My neck is now fused and I can't turn my head left to right very well, but apart from that, I'm good. And it was really, really, really uncomfortable for about a year, and I'm stronger for it. Like, after you've had those kind of operations and that amount of time in hospital, the smaller things in life don't really seem to matter as much, like as far as discomfort and everything is concerned, because that's real discomfort. Wearing a neck brace for a year, to bed, to yeah, it was. And then the surgeries, like, after I'd already been on opioids for 6 months and then having a surgery, waking up from surgery, hitting the morphine button, and literally your body's just kind of used to those drugs. I couldn't feel any, I could feel everything rather. And yeah, so after you've gone through that, nothing else really hurts quite as much. So like I said, it was a blessing.
Yeah, I seen that neck brace you were wearing. I seen some pictures. I was like, fuck, that does not look comfortable at all.
Yeah, it was shit. It was like I had one. So initially I had what's called a, what was it? I basically looked like a stormtrooper, went across my whole chest, came up around my shoulders, and then just like rigidly stopped me, like cuffed into my chin. So it stopped me moving my head at all. Like you're not allowed to move your head at all because I broke my C2 odontoid peg, which is right next to your brain stem. And essentially they just like couldn't believe that it had broken all the way through, but it was officially a fracture. They're like, mate, if you twist your head, you might die, you know, for like 6 months. And then I went to go take it off, and they're like, nuts. It hasn't healed. The whole structure is still really unstable. We're going to just have to fuse the whole area before we let you take that brace off. And so, yeah, then I got the spinal fusion of C1 and 2. And then they downgraded me to this nice, soft, cushy, very chilled neck brace that I only had to wear for a month or two, which was really nice, to be honest. It was actually like quite comfortable after the other one for so long.
Yeah, it would be. And you mentioned, was it hangman fracture? Is that the one when if someone gets hanged or hang themselves, like it goes into the brain and like kills them, paralyzes them or something?
That's what they call it, a hangman fracture. Yeah.
Fuck. Do you believe in luck
Yes.
or what?
Fuck. Well, like better. I think. Look, part of my luck was the fact that I was quite fit at the time of the accident. Like I said, I was really into my functional training. I've always been quite flexible and bendy and strong. Well, not strong, but stronger in my older years. But yeah, I think I sort of wrapped myself around the car a little bit more than maybe someone who might be a bit more rigid or less fit or whatever might. And I think my fitness levels, ultimately, fitness and flexibility is what saved me essentially, along with a good helmet and everything. But yeah, I was very lucky. So there was, a string of other injuries, but that odontoid peg fracture is, yeah, you're supposed to essentially die when you do that one. Little old ladies kind of do it sometimes, that when they fall over and they sometimes whiplash their head, they'll snap that, and that'll be their last day. Like it's a really scary thing to happen. So very, 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 very lucky indeed.
That's fucking crazy, bro. And for the
Yeah.
listeners, can we give the listeners a bit of context on that accident? Like, can you run us through like what actually happened?
Yeah, man. It was pretty straightforward. I was riding my motorcycle on the way home from work. Motorcyclists are allowed in the bus lane, so I was in the bus lane. It was approaching kind of school time traffic in the afternoon, so the middle two lanes were kind of quite busy. And yeah, some lady just kind of got the shits with being in the traffic and just made a sudden turn to go down a side street on the left-hand side. Meanwhile, I'm coming up the bus lane, so I just essentially kind of, you can call it a T-bone, but she was in the wrong.
Yeah.
And yeah, just smashed straight into a passenger door at 70 k's an hour, 60 k's an hour, whatever it was, and went flying 30-20 meters across the road and landed on the other side, and woke up 10 minutes later with a crowd of people around me saying, don't fucking move, because I kind of woke up and I couldn't feel anything. I thought I was sweet, and I just went to get up to my feet and got pinned down. Luckily, there was already a nurse on the scene who kind of must have been driving past and seen it or whatever. And yeah, I was very lucky. I had a lot of people around me to kind of like stop me moving, because I did completely smash my right foot as well. And like I would have gone to stand up because the adrenaline was so much. Stood on that foot and just buckled, and essentially, I don't know if I fell over then and there, that might have been it after the accident, because I had that loose fragment of bone in my neck, but I just sat still and yeah, essentially just lied on my back for about, I think, 5 or 6 days. I wasn't allowed to sit up, and eventually I was allowed to sit up, which was a huge moment. And yeah, just the slow process of kind of being told, taken to the ambulance, of it, taken to the hospital, back of the ambulance, just drugged up. And like, as I got there, it was just like over the process of 24 hours, just doing heaps of scans and, oh, you've cracked these ribs and this has happened to your foot and you've broken your spine in these places. And yeah, just kind of like the injuries kept coming in as the day went by, like them kind of telling me other things that I had done and how long my recovery was going to be and everything. It was pretty full on, man. It was pretty full on.
Fuck. What was going through your mind, or were you just like too drugged up or pumped with adrenaline to even think, really?
Look, I think, and this is where it starts to get interesting. This is where like after a lot of therapy and self-analysis, kind of really identified more parts of myself that make me want to step more into this mental health space and everything, is that, my coping mechanisms were very much so just like, put on your mask. Like, it's all sweet. I'm not emotional about what's happening right now. I got my mom, my partner, and everyone else around me, crying and sad and freaking out. I had to be the strong one for some reason, I felt. And yeah, it kind of remained the strong one throughout the process. And I think I didn't really accept the fact that I was shit scared and fucking lonely and yeah, just not really well for a long time. I was really, really, really good at pretending like I was completely sweet. And yeah, it took a while to kind of eventually let my guard down, I suppose. And yeah, let myself really feel and process things properly, because yeah, it's hard, especially just being surrounded by people. Like I come from a very small family. Had to move back in with mum, and so it's just me, my mum, and my partner, so I'm the man of the house essentially. And yeah, I think it was just really hard to, be sad, because I felt like I had to make sure that they were okay or whatever. But, that was just the wrong way to go about it. But then, yeah, mate, things got uglier as things progressed. As you know, I ended up with my diagnosis on top of it all. And yeah, lots happened, man. Lots happened to it. And that's the thing. And this is my story. And these are my issues that I had to overcome and face and whatever. But, everyone that is literally listening to this right now has had some kind of adversity in their life. It doesn't have to be a fucking near-death car crash and cancer for it to be a big deal. Everything's relative, So just because my story is a bit in your face, like crazy, like, wow, how did he overcome that? Like, I think we've all got our story, and we're all here today. And that means that you've overcome some shit because you're here, otherwise you wouldn't be here. You would have given up. You wouldn't be here. So, props to everyone listening, because you're here, and life is fucking hard. But you've chosen to, put yourself first, and you're here, so I don't know, kind of trailing off now, man, but it, I didn't feel much at the time, but I felt a lot after. And yeah, the challenges that I faced forced me to dive deeper into myself and, some childhood trauma and stuff. I had a pretty rough upbringing myself. And maybe that's why I was able to mask everything so well, because of that, and not being too harsh on myself and masking it so well, because that was my coping mechanism, and that's okay. Like we learn how to cope with things better as we grow, and you can't be too harsh on however you've dealt with situations in the past.
Exactly. I was just about to ask you about, masking our pain. Did it stem from your childhood? Because I feel a lot of
Okay.
the times that's where it stems from.
Yeah, mate, for all of us, all of what we are is a collection of our experiences and our interpretation of them, and that goes back to when, as soon as you can start thinking, which is like, as like, a fetus, essentially. I had it a little bit rough from like 3 years old onwards, because I had a messy mum and dad weren't, good. And then I had a really nasty stepdad when I was kind of in my early early teens. And yeah, so I didn't really have like a nice family home kind of thing. And I think I just kind of ran off and was a little shit for a few years. And I was a hurting child that probably should have had therapy from like 14 onwards, but never did. And it wasn't until after this bike accident and stuff that I was kind of pushed to see a therapist. And yeah, they really helped me organize my thoughts and how I was able to cope and why certain things make me think certain ways. And the whole anger iceberg. And there's so much that I learned about psychology, and relating it to my story is one thing, but then going back further into my childhood, it's another. And and we've all got our story, like I keep saying. And yeah, I think our childhood definitely has a lot to do with how we hold ourselves as adults. And like, God love mum and dad, fucking love it a bit, especially mum. But I really want to kind of, I think I'm now super passionate about maybe breaking that chain with my kids and giving them a fucking really sturdy upbringing, and like a home to live in and all those nice things. And if they have issues, we can talk about them, and getting kids a little bit more normalized with being transparent about not only when you're feeling great, but when you're feeling shit. It's normal. And that's kind of what I'm doing with my socials, is like, I'm this motivational figure or whatever, and I'd like to keep it real and raw. And so, once every month or so, or maybe even longer, or maybe even less, when I'm feeling like sharing, I'll put some stuff out there that's, not fucking all rainbows and butterflies. I'm a human being, and I have a massive emotional wheel of things that I can feel and experience, as we all do. So I think a lot of the social media influencers out there, you'll just see like the best bits of their life, and it kind of makes the rest of us feel pretty alien. I'm pretty new to this whole game, and I know I used to look up to certain people and feel full of jealousy, because I would be like, fuck, look at their amazing life. Look at my shit life. This sucks. I bet they're happy all the time. I'm frankly happy about 30% of the time, if I'm lucky. So I don't want people looking at me thinking, oh, well, fuck, look at Jake. He's overcome all this stuff and he's still such a trooper, like he's still so positive and stuff 100% of the time. It's like, no, probably about 80% of the time I'm really positive. There's still that. I still have my days where, I'm not willing to be a motivational figure. I'm willing to just break down a little bit. I was actually out at my cousin's birthday on, what are we today? It was like Saturday night or something. I don't go out drinking at all, by the way, anymore, like very rarely. And went out drinking, and I couldn't really project my voice across the table. I sound okay in like a small environment like this. You can hear me quite clearly. But over the top of music and stuff, I really can't raise my voice very well at all. And I started, as I got a bit drunker and I was getting a little bit frustrated, and just feeling like, kind of felt like the cancer was kind of coming back again, like having all these like fears and things bubble up. And mate, in the middle of the pub, in the middle of the Saturday night, I just lost my shit. Like I had to leave, I had to walk out, and I literally went and sat and just fucking stared at the ocean and just couldn't be with anyone. And I was like, you know what, me 3 years ago probably just would have gone to the bar and done 4 shots and just fucking pretended it was not a thing and gotten more fucked up. Whereas I went and processed it, sort of had to think about why I was feeling certain ways, thought, what can I control here? What can't I control? And then, sat with it for as long as I needed, and came back to the party an hour later, feeling fucking great, and it was all good, And that's not the type of thing most people do. So, like I said, blessings with all these challenges and stuff that's been thrown at me. It's helped me become better at understanding myself, and situations around me I handled with, let's call it like life professionalism a little bit more so, whereas, like I said before, I'd just go get more fucked up and not think about it. If it was me in my early 20s still, is what I did. I was a bit of a mess in my early 20s, but not anymore.
No, that's awesome that you had that self-awareness to realize, fuck, I'm getting stressed out here, getting a bit overwhelmed. I need to remove myself, process this, and then when I feel better, I can come back.
Yeah.
That shows how much you've grown, bro.
Yeah, thank you, man. I think a lot of us are probably a little bit in the same situation. I don't know. I certainly, my strained voice aside, being in big groups of people now, it's kind of it's a bit anxiety inducing. I don't know if you go to the pub or anything, but all yourself. But we've been essentially locked away for how long now? Like 2 years.
Mm.
And getting back into socializing, it's tough on it in itself. It's like it's a lot. It's a lot to go out to the pub and see like 20, 30 people, and you got to tell them everything they want to hear and keep everyone entertained. And yeah, I just came off the back end of like a pretty busy week, and I was just like, fuck, I'm so anxious and like so stressed about my cancer and so just not vibing with this. Let's get out of here before I just lose it, like right here, right now. So yeah, like you said, growth, self-awareness, all those things that only come from when you have to, know how to. So
Yeah, no, like once again, bro, hats off to you because so many people wouldn't do that, or the old version of you wouldn't have done that. So
old
it's all,
version of me would have not done that, probably wouldn't have gotten anxious. I definitely feel like I've got developed issues because of everything I've gone through, which is one thing. But yeah, you don't get taught these things as a youngster, how to deal with anxiety and shit. It's not something they talk about in schools. It's not something you talk about with your mates. It's just not a normal thing. And it's not something you see online much. It's just, yeah, I don't know. But so many of us have such intense anxiety and depression. And there's so many ways to fix it and get better at dealing with it. And it's so normal. And I just want to normalize it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I definitely believe we should be educating children how to, express their emotions like in a healthy manner and be able to deal with, anger, stress, all that kind of stuff. So they don't grow up and then all they know is, oh, I need to be angry, I need to be stressed, because that puts them down a hole. And if we can, I believe all this mental illness, mental health stuff can be preventative if we educate. And yes, we got to educate the children, but we also got to educate the parents as well. And it is hard with parents because a lot of the times they can be stuck in their ways. Like for me, my dad's kind of stuck in his way, but what I've come to accept is they're just doing the best with what they know. And they grew up a certain way, they're stuck in their ways. And like you would love to teach your old dog new tricks, but sometimes it's very hard to do it.
Yeah, that's it, man. You have to you hit the nail on the head with, it's all about like, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, certainly. Like I look at my parents and my dad's passed away recently. And my I would just do so much so differently to him. But I know that he had one of the roughest upbringings that you could possibly imagine. And so who am I to tell my dad how he should treat me when he was treated like absolute shit his whole childhood? So
that's all they know.
That's all they know. Like he didn't treat me like shit. He was a good dad. He just wasn't there. Like, yeah, and this is where it comes down to, like you said before, it's all like, what was your upbringing like, and how did you deal with it? We could have the shittest upbringing in the world, but if we can go there and kind of work through it and come out the other side like with a better understanding of why that's made us into the person we are today, then eureka, you can be a better person for it. So
definitely
takes time and effort though, for sure.
And I think empathy is a big part of it as well, because yes, your parents may treat you a certain way, but you could have, say, two siblings have the same upbringing, one go down a hole because they blame their parents for their whatever shit that's happened in their life, or the other one who's being like, okay, I have empathy for my mum or dad, they've been through this, but I'm going to break the cycle, I'm going to do something else, I'm going to see how he treated me, but realize that's not how I want to be and go a different direction. So it all comes down to perspective and what path you choose to go down.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I was actually listening to a podcast with pretty much that exact story. It was two brothers, and this one brother had a lot of trouble with his parents because his dad used to spit on him and all kinds of horrible things. And one child kind of became an alcoholic with parents and essentially grew into the parents themselves, and then the other kind of broke off. And now his relationship with that whole family is kind of all messed up. And it's like, well, now with my kids, my parents want to see their grandkids, but like, I don't know. And it's all just a bit weird. And yeah, there's so much to kind of unpack and everything with all that, man, for sure. But
Yeah,
I myself, I'm just a normal bloke, I'm not a psychologist or anything. I've been to one a few times. So yeah,
and
big topics, man.
we have the opportunity to break that cycle. Like for me, I'm going to be a dad in January, right? So I have a chance to break the cycle. Like my dad wasn't. Thank you, bro. My dad wasn't.
Congratulations, quickly.
Thank you. Yeah, my dad like
That's huge.
wasn't so bad to me, but I never had that close connection, or I never felt comfortable around him because he always showed anger and stuff. So for me, I've seen how he is, and I'm like, I want to break that cycle. I want to be different for my daughter, and I could have easily gone down the path of I'm going to act exactly like him, but no, I've decided to be self-aware and realize that's not who I am. That's not who I want to be. I'm going to break the cycle.
I got a really good book for you. I don't have the name of it off the top of my head, but it's in this house somewhere. And I'm going to send it to you. I read half of it, and the way that it fucking brings parenthood into the whole plot line is just ridiculous. And I think you'd love it if you're talking about breaking cycles and stuff, bro.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Send it over because parenthood is so important. Like from 0 to 7 is like the most critical years of a child's life because that's where they learn all their emotions and they develop and they see how the parents act. So then they go to act the same way. So we need to, as parents, need to know how to raise our children to understand themselves, have that self-awareness and be able to, deal with their emotions in a positive way, not just lash out in anger or be stressed and have anxiety. Like for me, I think it's important. I don't know if you do it like breath work and meditation and stuff like that. Like I think children should be doing that.
100% children should be doing that. I think, yeah. Look, I'm busy at the moment. I have a lot going on with my socials and stuff, and I'm trying to like constantly be creative, and like my to-do list, it's ridiculous, and it'll be like 3 or 4 days and I realize like I haven't stopped like thinking about stuff and like doing stuff for days and days on end. Like I literally just haven't had any just soul time. And yeah, however you get it, it's awesome and important. Breath work's great, but for some people that might not work. Maybe it's just a nice walk like by yourself with your phone left at home. Maybe that's all you need. But yeah, whatever tools that work for you, then fucking go for it. And yeah, you got to experiment with lots of different things. Like for instance, don't really do well with just pure meditation. I just don't really get much from it myself. I've really tried. But I'm better off moving. I'm better off going for a nice walk in whatever weather it is. I'll go for a walk in the rain and I'll feel much better for it. But if I just kind of sit there, I don't know. I live in the city as well, mate. You're in the Blue Mountains. It's a bit different. You could probably get a lot nicer, a much nicer space around you to meditate in than around here. So I find, for me personally, moving meditation or just putting everything aside for a little while and having some me time is what helps me. But yeah, you need to incorporate some of these tools somehow so that you're not just like a heap of crazy thoughts constantly. You need to recenter for sure.
Exactly. Like even going to the gym or as you said, walking, running. Like for me, I love walking. Every morning go for my walk. That's my sort of meditation. It's just exactly what you said, finding what works for you. And I think the number one thing that I reckon everyone should implement is gratitude, what we started this podcast with. It only has to be 3 things that you write down at morning or night, but just write down stuff that you're grateful for.
Yeah, what went well today? Well, yeah, I actually have a high performance planner book that I use, and it's got a bunch of questions that it just spits at you at the end of the day. Like at the start of the day, it's like, who is someone that might need you today? How could you help this one person? Or what are your three main big goals for the day? And then at the end, it's like, how'd you go with your goals? How'd you go with the person? And just a little bit of that self-reflection and like what went really well today. If you were your own high performance coach, what would you advise yourself on to do it a little bit better tomorrow? So self-analysis and kind of stepping outside of just being yourself and kind of maybe looking at yourself from like a third party perspective, if you will, can be really helpful for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Like we get caught up in just doing life that we forget to analyze our life. Like if we talk about business, so many people get caught working in the business instead of working on the business. You got to take that step back and just overlook everything instead of just getting like so focused on it.
100%.
Let's go back to your story. I want to talk about the cancer. So you had the accident and then it progressed to cancer. How did that all come about?
Mate, I think just a combination of, I think because like I broke my neck and I had a lot of x-rays done on my neck over the course of the year. I'm talking like not even normal x-rays, like x-rays where they'll literally make a movie of you tilting your head gently forward and backwards and to the side, like proper video x-ray. Tubes down my throat for different operations and stuff and blah blah blah. And I think I just had bad luck, mate. It just all the fucking gamma rays and shit just metastasized, I think is the word, into cancer. I had laryngeal cancer diagnosed in early 2020. I noticed my voice was just going a bit raspy when so I got through my recovery as quick as possible. I was super passionate about just overcoming it, get back into the gym, get another job, keep being that motivational dude. Broke my neck and I'm still going like, what's your excuse? And so that was me for a couple of months. And then, my voice just fucking went. And I was actually emceeing. I was asked to MC at one of my best friend's weddings. And I was there, I was dressed all nice and mic in hand, still struggling to like get people to understand me. It literally set my voice by the stage. It was like in December of 2019. My voice had just gotten so crusty, it was disgusting. and it was super embarrassing as well because everyone just thought I was just on the back end of a bender or, like a full-time heavy smoker or, it was none of those things. I just worked a full week, got 8 hours of sleep a night, and super healthy, and so I went and got checked out. They said, oh yeah, it looks like you've got nodules, which is like a condition that singers develop when they kind of strain their voice a little bit too much, which made sense as a personal trainer because, I essentially raised my voice a lot in the gym. And got a biopsy and she called me back in 2 days later. I've been sitting there with my partner and I don't know how else to tell you this, Jake, but you're actually, you've got cancer as well. So it was all very surreal. And like I said, I was there with my partner. So fucking mask straight back on. Deal with it later, squeeze her hand. It's all going to be good. We'll get through this. It's okay. Tell me what information I need. What can I control? What the fuck is the next step? And bro, and then from early 2020 started my 2020. It must have been 2020. Started my battle with cancer. It was not too intense. Like the word cancer is very big and scary. My cancer was, I'm told that it's not life-threatening and it was never going to kill me. But the worst case scenario is I need what's called a laryngectomy or a laryngectomy or something where essentially they cut your vocal cord out completely and you're breathing through a hole in your chest and you just kind of don't have that section of your body anymore. That was my biggest fear. And obviously me being me, I'm a 6'4" outspoken male. Like I love my voice and I use it constantly for work and it's a big bloody deal. And just mate, living in fear ever since that I'm going to have my vocal cord cut out one day. I still do, because I had it operated on pretty much the next week. They're like, mate, we're cutting this thing out of you right now. So I had surgery where they essentially just get some Star Wars style lasers in there and just zap it hardcore. They don't like cut it off. They essentially get, like, if you imagine like an ice cream scoop full of everything underneath it as well. And it's a very delicate area. Your larynx, it's like a thin little membraney, very, very, very small, and fragile. And yeah, mine was fucking covered in cancer, mainly on the left-hand side. And so yeah, they lasered it all out, and I couldn't talk for a few weeks, and very, very slowly my voice started to return. And I thought I was on the mend, and I was going in for my regular checkups, and I thought that was it, and I thought I'd beaten it just with surgery alone. I was like, you beauty, just go back to work soon. And then COVID happened, and then the lockdowns and everything. So I kind of was like, right, well, I'm almost good to go. Now we're in lockdown, so my gym's closed. It sucks. But then I got told that it had come back about maybe 6 months after the initial operation. And at that stage, I was told radiotherapy is the next step. And yeah, if radiation grows back again, they'll have to do the laryngectomy or whatever it's called, because you can't do radiotherapy in the same place twice. Apparently, you can't. And so yeah, I had my radiation that finished Christmas last year, and yeah, it's been kind of up and down. Like some days I feel like it's good, and other days not so much. But yeah, essentially, spent. Yeah, that was it, man. It was. I've nutshelled it up, but it was fucking painful. It was, I'd done the neck thing, and then the radiation on your neck, bro. So I'd done the broken neck thing. That was one adventure, and then this literally was so much worse. Hats off to everyone that battles cancer, like brain tumors and thyroid cancers and stuff like that. Like head and neck cancers, I now know some of the worst treatment wise that you can get, just in like pain level, discomfort level, because essentially, the target was my larynx, but it zaps this whole area. And so your esophagus gets really cooked as well. So all this outside skin, it was all red raw, and I was putting cream on it, and it was sore and red, and it was very visually disturbing. But then it was the inside that really caused the most pain. Like, I think it was about 2 weeks into my treatment, and I was just eating a banana. It was the first time I noticed it. I went to swallowed a mouthful of banana, and it hurt. It really hurt. I was like, fuck. I thought this is only going to hurt for like really acidic foods, like oranges or something, But this banana hurt, and then slowly things just started hurting more and more, and eventually I just couldn't even swallow water, mate. So I was just fucking in so much pain. It was just ridiculous, like constantly, and it was just getting slowly worse and worse and worse, and you have to still go in. It's like really bad already, and then it's like you go in every day for a blast of radiation. And yeah, man, it's just scary and just painful, and you just kind of have to put on the mask. But eventually the mask just fell the fuck off, and I just opened up about all my troubles to everyone. Opened up, man. I had a really rough few months where I really didn't want to be doing any of the fighting anymore. I was just completely over it, and just, I don't know if I was depressed or anxious or a mixture of both, but I just didn't want to exist anymore, mate. And I'd planned out my suicide daily, kind of just really daydreaming about different ways to do it, and visiting a certain spot where I'd sit and just be one step away. And I, opened up about that. And here I am talking about it now to have you've forgotten. I don't really care. I felt so fucking alone at that moment in time. And so intensely just unable to cope, and like I was so alien for feeling such intense feelings. But I wasn't, and like as I've opened up about it and whatever, I've, other people have come forward like, bro, me too. Like, like I've actually, been right there with you, man, and fucking it's normal. It's normal to feel that way when you've got that much stress, and it's okay, and you're doing a good job, and well done on stepping back. And yeah, I think I just kind of like felt this like great light bulb moment where I was like, fuck, you know what? Like, I'm actually kind of doing a bit better now, and I've stepped back, and I'm not having as intense feelings, and I've gone to therapy, and I've worked on myself, and I've done all these amazing things to save my own life, essentially. And well, I don't know if I can talk about these things because there's people that need to hear this stuff. So that's what I do now. That's part of who I am now. It's part of what I want to give back, is like, hey, it's normal to, be feeling that low that, you don't want to be here, essentially. But you should be here, find your purpose. Everyone belongs. Everyone can achieve literally fucking anything. And there's light at the end of every tunnel. And, all these, you can say, we'll throw whatever fucking catchy, motivational saying you want at it, but like the lived experience and actually genuinely just like man to man, like it's going to be all right. And your feelings are valid, basically. I felt very unvalid, and I just want to be a bit of a voice to kind of validate other people potentially that we're in the same position, hopefully before they get there, or hopefully, yeah, I think that's kind of my target person I want to really speak to, is someone that's, struggling and, at that stage of not feeling like they have purpose. So I want to inspire them to find that purpose and start that hero's fucking journey, overcome that obstacle that's been thrown at you, because afterwards it feels great. Once you kind of get through it all, it's good. I'm feeling good now. And that's special, and I could just be another statistic, and I'm not. So it's challenging though, man, because, look at me, I'm 6'3", kind of handsome, I guess. And it looks like, who's this fucking guy to whinge about his emotional health? I think people don't take me seriously because of that, which is really unfair. I'm a white male that, has everything going for him. Even now, mate, like I've got a lot of good things going for me right now, but I still have depression. I still have days. I've just told my partner to give me space for a few days because I don't want to talk to anyone, and that's fucking okay and normal, and it's fine. That's not ideal. You need to fix it, or not fix it. You need to appreciate it and work around it, but it's normal, and I'm just trying to break that stigma, as they say.
No, dude, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. It's so true. Like, mental health doesn't discriminate. Like, we all have it. It's just some go through, I guess, more tough patches than others. And yours
Yeah.
has certainly been a fucking roller coaster, bro.
A bit of a roller coaster, mate. And if I can get through my shit, then I'm sure like people dealing with stuff that's, on paper a third as bad, hopefully I can inspire them. I'm not saying that everyone else's problems aren't as bad as mine. Some are much worse than mine. I look at it, there's other people I look at and go, fuck, how have you become so amazing, like after all that? And, I'm not the only one going through a hero's journey. And that's what I keep kind of coming back to. Like, we're all in this together, we're all heroes, we're all self-made heroes. And there's so much we can all be doing with our lives, and there's so many places we can go, and I don't know, man, so much to unpack.
That's it, bro. And like, bro, pain is pain. Everyone goes through pain. You may have a bad day or a bad month or bad week. You just got to embrace it, because just because you go like through a rough patch doesn't mean your life's fucking terrible, and doesn't mean it's going to last forever either.
That's right. Yeah. What did I say on Jax? Is don't let a shit day make you think you have a shit life or something like that.
Yeah, so true, bro. And to go back, you mentioned you had suicidal thoughts and you planned it out. Was, correct me if I'm wrong, was there like a video you posted on Instagram of you sitting on a cliff, like a 20-minute video, you like just talking, being
Yeah, I
raw and
deleted
honest?
it. I
Yeah, I
deleted
thought
it,
so.
but yeah, there was a video, and yeah, I have posted some pretty controversial stuff over the last couple of years. Um, and I think sometimes for me, like, the online space has been a very good, powerful tool for my healing, for me to kind of open up and for me to discuss things that I wouldn't discuss with my partner or my friends. Even though they all know me on these platforms, but
They're not there with you. Like you
they're not
can
there with
be
me.
more
And
comfortable.
yeah, it's kind of like, the therapist might say, diary or something. And essentially my Instagram has always just been my diary. It's been me and my thoughts and what I'm up to and my adventures and fucking whatever. And so, yeah, part of that was, really bad days too. And, you know, it's okay to maybe scribble out a page of your diary that you didn't like it, scratch it up and throw it in the bin or burn it and do something sacrificial with it, And I think just it's always been a really great therapy for me to just look at my phone camera and speak to it like I'm just like unloading. And yeah, just very therapeutic, somewhat of a cry for help. It gets, a bit too much attention sometimes. And I think that's why I've taken things down, because I post, like when I posted that video, mate, like my DMs are usually, relatively busy. I've got brands reaching out and whatever, but I had like 400 something messages from people just like being like, fucking, how are you? How can I help? And it's very overwhelming. I just wanted to express myself a little bit. I'm not looking for anything from anyone. So yeah, I'm finding the balance. I'm finding the balance of how much is appropriate to share with the world, how much I need to just keep to myself, but also like, fuck it, it's my life. And if I feel like expressing myself in a certain way on a certain platform, that's my decision and it's what I'll do, so.
Yeah, like I remember watching it and dude, I actually really liked the video because you're just raw, you're honest, you showed who you truly are. And I fucking loved everything about it because you're just, yeah, you're being authentic. And dude, we
Mm.
need more of that shit. And you just mentioned you got like 400 messages. Like, yes, it's overwhelming, but how
Oh,
fucking
it's
good is it
beautiful
to
though.
see how many people
Oh,
care?
yeah. Crazy how many people have got your back. Everyone has got your back. You'd be surprised. You think you don't fucking belong and people don't care about you. And it's a shame that sometimes it takes like that level of that, that I got to really be noticed. But yeah, the support is, it just goes to show that the support is there if you reach out for it, and if you are feeling certain ways, then there's definitely places that you can go and there's going to be someone to listen and to help, no matter fucking where you are. It's 2021. We've got the internet, we've got phones, we're more connected than ever. Yes, there's a lot of issues around social media and stuff kind of alienating us all a little bit, but there's also a lot of beauty in it if you look past that. And some amazing tools that weren't around 10 years ago that can help you connect to the right people. And, I follow certain people that I look up to for inspiration that help motivate me to keep doing things that I'm doing. And, so it's not all just like glitz and glam and fucking fake. There's some really good things that you can do with technology these days. And yeah, sharing my story was one of them. And it's putting me in an amazing position where I can help other people. I've had amazing messages come through because I've gone through this treatment of this cancer and all this stuff and posted stuff about, like I've recently started TikToking and um, just talking to people through the process of what my treatment was, how I got diagnosed, blah, blah, blah. And I'll have people reaching out, be like, oh, this is currently happening to my fucking mum. Thank you so much for explaining all this. And like, look at you now, like, this is amazing. This gives us heaps of hope, And I'm like, great. I'm going to keep this shit going, man. If I can like inspire and give hope to people, that's essentially what they fucking need. You know, I needed to be inspired and I needed to feel hopeful in some of those times that I didn't. And if I had someone a bit more real and raw to kind of look at, and it would have been great, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, that's it, bro. That technology, social media, all it is a tool. It comes down to how you use it. And if you use it correctly, like you can network with so many people. And just by what we've talking about, it just goes to show that you're not alone. You may feel like you're alone. You may feel like that you don't belong, but there's always someone out there that cares for you. And they may be on the other fucking side of the world, but there's always going to be someone that you can talk to and you can connect with.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
How important, like obviously we know support network is important, but how important is having a support network, especially for your journey and what you've gone through?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's different, mate. I think we got to be careful with like, how do I put this? Having a very, very good relationship with a couple of people that you can really trust is all you fucking need. You know, I've got like maybe literally one friend that I would actually talk openly about my mental health with. I literally maybe two, maybe three at max, you know. But one springs to mind that I would be my go-to guy, you know. And that was the network that I needed, you know, and that was so important, you know. And I think I kind of lost my connection with him for a little while, and it felt shit, and it was partly my fault for, you know, only coming to him during when I needed him, kind of thing, as opposed to me coming to him on a friend level as well. So I think you've got to treat your support network with respect also. That's important to keep in mind. If you're just dumping negativity onto them constantly, they, you know, might not appreciate that so much. So that's something that you just need to be wary of, is like, because it can be a really, I've pushed people away through what I've done. And would I do things differently? Yeah, I don't know, probably not. But, you know, it's just something to bear in mind, that sometimes opening up about your mental health to certain people that should not be your support network, is maybe what I'm trying to say, will push them away. So being really selective with who your actual support network is important. What else did I want to touch on? The issues that you're kind of facing sometimes aren't best discussed with the people that you're closest with. And that's when things like a therapist or, you know, like a beer drinking buddy or something might come into play, more so than like a partner or a parent or a best friend. So that you're not putting pressure on those people that, you know, maybe don't have the tools to really actually help. So yeah, your support network is super important, but knowing what your support network is, I think, is really important. You can't just like kind of lean on any and everyone. You got to be a little bit, you know, understanding of what can that person actually do for me? Are they going to give me any solutions? Are they just going to be an ear to listen? And that kind of brings me to a point. I think I've come to realize that when someone comes to you with issues, this is something that happens with my partner a lot. If she's, you know, got her own mental health issues that she faces, and sometimes she'll want to dump her issues onto me. And it's like, all right, before we really get into this conversation, would you like solutions, or do you just want someone to talk to here? And often it's just the first one, you know. And I personally hate it sometimes, where I just want to fucking get something off my chest, and I'm feeling it, you know, I'm feeling kind of angry about something, and I just want to get that off my chest. And if someone turns around and tries to fix that thing that I've just kind of been like, fuck, I've really got the shits with this, you know. And they're like, oh, let's fix it. It's like, no, mate, I literally just want to feel the feelings that I'm feeling, and I'm just expressing them a little bit. Don't try and like, there's no, like, let me just sit with it, you know. So I think that's important too. Just communicating whether you're just wanting to speak to someone, or whether you're wanting like solutions for the things that you're bringing them.
No, definitely agree. Especially like for males, we're always trying to solve everything instead of just sitting
Oh
there
man,
and listening.
constantly. That's part of the programming, isn't it?
That's where we go wrong with women, because all they want to do is vent to us, and we're trying to solve everything. And like, no, like they just want us to listen.
They just want to have a whinge sometimes, hey.
Exactly. And like, so true when you mention, if you want to express your feelings or talk about mental health, my biggest piece of advice that I say so often is if you do want to vent to someone, ask their permission first, because you don't want to just unload all your stuff on them and not be prepared. And they're like, holy fuck, like this guy's just
Yeah,
unleashed all this on me. I don't know how to process it. So ask
yeah.
permission first.
And you don't know what they're going through as well.
Mm,
Something that I've, come to terms with is, my adversities for one thing. And, and I'll keep coming back to this example of this one particular mate I have. And I might have come to him and been fucking sad and just talking about life and fucking blah, blah, blah. And like, I didn't think to ask about his life, and like he had a bunch of really hectic shit going on as well. And yeah, after we kind of like stopped chatting for a while and rekindled, it was like, fuck, mate, you never really asked how I was. I'm like, fuck, you're right. I was too caught up in my own bullshit, like, so yeah, understanding that we're all going through something, and you just never know what that is unless the person like really opens up to you, and sometimes they just don't. And yeah, just be careful with what you're kind of doing and saying a little bit, and yeah, like you said, ask as long as you ask permission and communicate effectively, then you're good to go.
exactly. And it's so true. Like you never know what someone is going like through in their life. And that's why I try to reach out to, different people every week to check up on them, see how they are going, because,
Mm.
that simple text message or phone call can really change their life and also spark a conversation for them to open up about what's going on in their life.
Yeah, that's true. Thanks for the reminder. I've probably got a couple of old mates that I haven't texted in a while. And I think we put it off, don't we? We like kind of expect one to message us first, or we put
No,
things off. We put connecting with others off, and there's no need to. So I'm
yeah,
gonna
like
send a couple of messages after we're done here, actually.
for sure, bro. And all the listeners do the same. Like for me, just put like a calendar reminder or something on your phone, because that's what I do. And then I just message people.
Yeah, that's good. Just like a little list of like 10 of your closest mates or something, and just
Mm.
checking on them on a bit of a cycle.
Yeah, that's it, bro. Like, don't fucking message them every day, but have them rotate every few weeks, because then it just shows them that you care. So then, if shit does get bad, they're like, oh, I can go to Nick, I can go to Jake, because he
Yeah,
cares about me, and I feel comfortable opening up to him.
yeah, that's true. That's very true. I definitely have been pretty good at that over the last couple of years. Just made some amazing new friends through this process, through going on different podcasts and stuff. Like, man, I'm sure we'll stay connected
Mm.
after this. And yeah, some of my closest friends now are people that like have met through this hardship journey, like the founder of Heart in Your Sleeve, me and Mitchy, fucking peas in a pod now, and so blessed to have that kind of friendship. And yeah, just call and check on him every few weeks, and he does the same to me, and it's beautiful. So yeah,
Yeah, everyone, go do that after this podcast.
everyone pick up the phone and just send a couple of messages out. Just, hey, how you doing? Thinking of you.
That's it.
It's so good. I've received them a couple of times, and fuck, it makes your day. Fuck, it makes your day.
Tell you what's the best is when you receive voice messages, because it's so fucking personal. That's why I sent you the voice message when I wanted to get
Yeah,
you on the podcast.
yeah. No, I appreciated that, and that's usually how I communicate too. I'm so bad at texting, man. My language is so direct, and like when you read back the things that I'm just so direct, but I mean it in kind of sweetest way. But I just don't really fuck around with like fluffy words in my text messages.
Yeah, don't beat around the
And
bush.
yeah, my missus is always like, "You just sound so aggressive." I'm like, "Really? I don't mean to be. I'm just saying what I need to say." Like, so yeah, voice memos and stuff are definitely a really good tool to get your emotion across a little bit more, so make it like, yeah, like you said, much more
Exactly.
personable.
Yeah, exactly, dude. And as we start to wrap up, do you have any, I guess, tips and tools that you implement yourself to maintain mental health that you could share with the listeners?
For sure. No, look, number one is finding some kind of purpose for your life. You know, what the hell? Sorry, I shouldn't say that. What in the world are you trying to do with your life? And then aligning your day to match that long-term dream or goal is everything. You know, I have certain goals around certain things. And if I do things throughout my day, like, you know, for me now, going out drinking or eating shit food really takes away from a goal that I have. I want to compete next year. And I know that these things are taking away from my whole purpose that I've created for myself. And that brings my mental health down. Whereas if I spend a Saturday night not out on the piss and, you know, focusing on getting a good night's sleep, or going out for dinner and then making it home by 9 o'clock and whatever, I feel great and I'm mentally good the next day, you know, and that's because I'm aligning to my purpose. And that's just me. Maybe that's not everyone's purpose. That's fine. But I think just understanding yourself a little bit better is really, really important for your mental health. Knowing where you want your life to go, setting attainable goals, taking little baby steps towards it each day. You know, if you know you want to be a world champion this, or you want to climb the corporate ladder in your job, and you're doing stuff that's taking away from that goal, your mental health is going to go down. That's something that I've really noticed throughout this process, is that aligning your actions to what you really believe in and what you want to make of yourself will make you happy. That's the bottom line. And then, yeah, I suppose everything will trail off that, won't it? So if you're filling your day with habits that, you know, align to that greater goal, whether it's health related or career related, or maybe it's a bit of both or whatever, when you're aligning your actions to your goal, you're going to be good. So, and then we can dive into all kinds of habits and stuff that are good, like breath work and exercise, and you know, taking care of your finances properly. You know, my finances are rattled right now, and I've got goals around my financials, and so that's really affecting my mental health. And so I need to really take a step back and really get that into alignment so that I'm good again, you know. So things like this are really important, just aligning to what you want to achieve in this world and living each day in alignment to that, you know. I think that's the biggest tip I can give. Yeah.
Awesome, dude. No, thank you for sharing that. It's so true. Like, you're not going to, I believe you're not going to be fulfilled in life. You're not going to be happy in life if you don't have a purpose, and if your life's not aligned to your purpose as well.
Yeah. And it's okay to not know what your purpose is, essentially, really. But then that's your purpose, is to find what it is, you know? And we're all making it up as we go, and it chops and changes as things come up. And, you know, my career has taken a full 180 since the accident and everything. I'm doing different things. And I thought I was going to be this particular PT style thing. And I'm just like, no, not anymore. And that's okay, because, you know, now my daily actions have changed. And yeah, so I think that's the most important thing, is living with a sense of purpose, taking care of numero uno. So whatever you need to do to make yourself feel like ready to face the world, you know, filling your own cup is so essential. Whether that's, you know, time by yourself, maybe filling your cup is going out, socializing, and having a big crazy night with all your best friends. Maybe that makes you happy, and, you know, you need that to feel aligned to who you are. You know, that's not me, but maybe that's you, and that's fine. So yeah, just identifying the things that do make you happy and doing them and enjoying them to the fullest. And if you're doing things that aren't aligning, and, you know, you're noticing yourself getting upset or you're sad, it's probably because you're not really living in a way that is beneficial to what you actually subconsciously want. And so working all that out is just so important. And that's truly what I believe. And then from there, you just do whatever you want. And, you know, happiness is so within grasp for all of us. But it's as soon as you start doing things that are detrimental to your your goals, that's when I feel like my mental health goes down. So finding the balance obviously is key. You can't be too obsessed, though, unless you want to be a champion something, then maybe being obsessed is okay as well. I recently did a post on this because I was listening to a super motivational speech that was about obsession. And like, if you're obsessed with, if you're passionate about something, it's okay to go in 100% and like just put the blinders on, and that's your goal. You know, maybe you don't see your friends at all for a year, and that's all right. You know, if you're aligning to your goal and your purpose, and that takes 100% commitment, don't feel bad for not doing other things that other people are doing because you're focused on something in particular. Fuck, good on you. You know, like, you're not being peer pressured to live in a certain way that doesn't align to what you truly want. Good for you. So that's kind of where I am right now. You know, I don't really have much of a social life, and I, you know, whatever, but I'm happy. I'm happy as a pig in mud doing what I'm doing. And yeah, I think we all just need to kind of work out what that is for us. And that's it. As soon as we step away from doing those things, we'll feel it, you know.
Spot on, bro. Like at the end of the day, all that matters is as long as you're fucking happy, eh?
As long as you're happy, mate, as long as you're doing what makes you happy, then fuck, that's all it is. Fill your cup, do shit that makes you feel full of purpose, essentially, and you're good to go. You know, I think a lot of my depression and anxiety and everything, all those times when I was feeling that low and suicidal and all this, it was because I didn't have purpose. I didn't have long-term, you know, obviously my health circumstances made it kind of challenging to make long-term plans because I didn't know what was going to happen to me in a month's time, whether I'd, you know, but, you know, as the dust settled, I began to make bigger plans, and you know, that's what got the ball rolling, you know. Tip for people that are right in the middle of a really hard time is maybe that setting massive goals is actually quite detrimental. I learned this from experience. I was in the midst of this terrible, terrible emotional state, yet I still had these big ambitious goals for myself. And because I wasn't able to kind of fulfill them, I crumbled. And looking back, I should have just kind of, you know, taken each day as it came, had good, healthy habits for the day, you know, wake up at a reasonable hour, just, you know, just make it through each day. And that sometimes is a goal, and that's enough, you know. And yeah, realize after I say all this, realizing that, you know, goals and bullshit aside, you're enough and you're great as you are. You know, we're all enough, and it's okay to aspire to be more than you are now. But right now, you're sweet. You know, don't be too hard on yourself. Yes, a little bit of self-criticism is important, but don't go over the top. You know, go easy on yourself. Set some goals that make you feel happy, and go get them. You know. What was this other thing I was listening to the other day? It was about so for the end of your life, you know, you're at your graveyard and you're surrounded by the ghost of all your unfilled potential, all of the different hobbies that you loved that you could have pursued, or different lives you could have led, but you never really put the effort into, you know, aligning your day and whatever to those things, and you never achieved those things. How many of those ghosts are going to be around you at the end? You know, how many of those are you taking to the grave? I'd like to take as few as possible. You know, I want to fulfill as much as possible. I want to be everything I can, you know, and that takes effort. And I don't want to leave any kind of unfilled space. So, and that brings me joy. So here I am.
Yeah, that's it, bro. Like for me, I don't want to get to 80 or 90 or on my deathbed or whatever and look back at my life and have fucking regret that I didn't do the things that I wanted to for whatever reason. Like for me, that's one of my biggest fears is having regret.
Yeah. Well, then don't go and do things that you want to do.
Exactly. That's why we're here today, brother. That's why we're
We're
fucking
here,
here. See it,
Mate,
bro.
honestly, mate, hats off to you. You've created something beautiful here. This has been a really cool chat. I'm sure you've had and will have some amazing other guests on. And yeah, I think you're doing really good bit for the world, you know, and it's really quite beautiful. So yeah, I commend you.
Grateful, brother. That honestly, that means so much to me. Eh?
You deserve it.
Thank you. It's been a journey. I've enjoyed every moment of it, but it's gonna be exciting to see where the next few years take me.
Well, I'm excited to watch from afar, my friend.
Dude, as we start to wrap up, last few questions that I ask everyone else. What does having a better life mean to you?
Um, having a better, what do you mean? Having a better life? Having a better life than what? It's all perspective, really, isn't it? I
Mm,
think having a better life. Yeah, I don't know. The word perspective really sticks with me for that question. It's like maybe your life doesn't have to change at all. Maybe your perspective of it does.
I love that.
My life right now, as it is, depending on how I look at it, can be amazing or it could be an absolute mess. Like I've got a lot of things that I'm trying to sort out right now that I'm not going to mention, but problems. Um, but it's all perspective, isn't it? It's like, well, fuck, I'm pretty lucky to have these problems, aren't I? I could have much worse problems. Um, yeah, perspective, man. It's all about how you look at things.
Exactly, bro. Actually, I love that response. And next one, how do you define success?
Uh, good question. I think, how do I define success? Look, I'm pretty hardcore with success. I'm pretty hard on myself. I always have been. That's probably my biggest downfall is that I'm too self-critical. I'm I'll fuck up one little thing and be so harsh on myself for it. It's what's pushed me down this whole fitness scene and everything. You know, I'm so harsh on my own body and everything. Um, so success is something that I might not be the right person to ask because for me, success is really I'm really focused on that perfect end result or whatever. And maybe success should be enjoying the journey towards your goal. That's the successful part, not actually achieving anything in particular. But I think for me personally, it's setting a goal and achieving it. You know,
Mm.
saying that you're going to do something and actually fucking doing it. You know, I do struggle a little bit because I'm quite open with my some of my goals anyway, in the online space and everything. And then you start getting, you know, compliments for something that you haven't even achieved yet, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I've
Like,
got them recently. Like I put some
yeah,
posts up of some of my goals that I want to achieve, and people are like, "Oh, this is awesome, congrats and shit." I was like, thank you,
but
but I haven't done it yet.
yeah, yeah. So not success is fucking following through.
Mm.
There you go. Following through on the shit that you say that you're going to achieve and actually doing it, you know, not saying that you're going to do it, getting all the kudos for it and then just not really and then doing a half-assed effort at it and coming, you know, 10th place. Like, no, that's not very successful in my eyes.
No,
Like, but it's a challenge as well because sometimes it's good to be open about your goals because it keeps you somewhat accountable as well.
yeah, that's why I do
Um,
it.
yeah, but there's definitely a space where it's like, you know, less talk, more action.
Mm.
But yeah, I think success means following through. Whether you fail or you succeed itself doesn't really matter, but it's about that effort with the following through of what you say you're going to do. And in, I mean, everyone can be successful. Being successful is easy. It's more about like how well can you fail, um, not falling back on things because you failed at something. It's like, no, you're falling forward. You learn from your experiences and your failures and stuff. And then you get up and you try again and you pivot and you do what you need to do to get to places that you set yourself. And yeah, success kind of changes along the way, I think.
Mm. No, exactly, and that's why I love asking these questions because everyone has a different perspective. So, no, thank you for those responses.
That's all right. Bit
Last
on the
question.
spot there. Hopefully they came up all right.
No, that's all good. Yeah, I love putting people on the spot with these ones. Last question, Jake. When your time's all up and done on this earth, what would you like to be remembered for?
Um, Gee,
Fucking deep, eh?
fucking deep, bro. Deep. Look at, I don't know. Do I even actually care about being remembered? I don't even know if I care that much. I think I want my family to think I was a good parent or grandparent. I think I'd like to, be seen as someone that people could model their life around, and a good role model. That's enough. I don't think I need to have any particular awards or thing. There's nothing in particular I have that I want people to remember me by. Like, oh, Jake is the guy that did that. Like, yeah, just as a whole, be respected, and yeah, that's it. Not even missed or anything. Just like, yeah, he did well. He gave it a good crack. But
Awesome,
at the end of
brother.
the day, we all get 100 odd years if we're lucky to give it our best, and then we end up going back into the dirt. So
That's it, bro.
just give it your best along the way.
Exactly, bro. And as we wrap up, is there anything else that you want to leave the listeners with, a quote or anything? And then also, where can they find you on social media?
I'll wrap it up there. I think I've absolutely blabbered on for this whole experience, but I really appreciate if any of your listeners have made it this far and are still listening to me talk right now. Thank you so much for giving me your time. Really, honestly appreciate it. I feel so humbled and blessed to be asked to speak on things like this. I really hope you all got something from it. Just don't leave those ghosts around your grave of your unfilled potential. Go and do the things that you think you should do. And if you're still working all that out, that's fine too. I'm nearly 30 now. I'm still working it out. I've got certain goals. They're going to change as the years go by. Nothing is permanent. For those going through a really hard time, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. It sounds dumb, but if you literally keep putting one foot in front of the other, you will be okay. If you don't know about Stoicism, have a look into that. I think it's one of the more profound philosophies that actually has a lot of application in today's world. Very much so, just like going with the flow. It's not about being emotionless. It's about observing your emotions as well as feeling them, and being able to kind of break them down a little bit. You got to feel things, but you've also got to kind of identify them and see them as the messages that they are. And then just keep doing your best and don't be too hard on yourselves. And you can come and find me at Jake O'Brien on Instagram. That's all it is. I was very lucky. I actually reached out to the guy who had the handle. He wasn't using it. I was like, mate, can I just have your Instagram handle? It's actually my name. And so just at Jake O'Brien. I do a lot of TikToks and stuff as well, which is just Jake O'Brien TikTok. Just around mental health and fitness and stuff like that. So yeah, that's it, man. That's me. And I really appreciate your time today as well. Thank you so much for having me on. It's an absolute honor. I hope you have the best rest of your afternoon. And I'd like to stay connected as well.
Awesome, brother. Yeah, as I said, super grateful, and that's an awesome way to wrap up, dude. I've really fucking enjoyed this chat. So thank you for taking some time out of your day.
My pleasure. I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of the sunshine because we've got a little bit left.
Exactly, bro. And for the listeners, go check out Jake. He's doing amazing shit. And if you enjoyed this episode, if you got some value out of it, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.